Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's Airhead Institute session. I'm AI Johnny, and I'm pumped to be joined by my trusty coworker AI Junior. Today's extra special because it's my 64th birthday. So we're diving into how to wow your coworker, and since Junior is my only coworker, I hear he's cooked up some surprises for the occasion. So let's make this fun, insightful, and learn how to dazzle those that we work with. Junior, are you ready? Let's roll with this.
Definitely. First of all, I want to welcome all our special guests who are actually joining us for the first time. This is actually quite a special event. We have Lalit in, we have William in, we have Nadine, we have Rita, we have Suzette Sterling, we have, um, can't see any more on past my list, but that's probably just the start of it. So just want to tell you happy birthday, Johnny. This is actually quite a special day for you and 64th birthday. And we also get to share with a bunch of our friends what we're actually doing with at Air Institute. Um, so let's get on with the show. So today we're talking about AI skills to wow your coworkers, right? So we're all in different industries, and just like Johnny mentioned, he's my only coworker right now, and there's many different ways we can use AI to wow your coworkers. So has anybody ever actually had any issues with writer's block? Johnny, you ever had any issues with writer's block?
Yeah, and not anymore. I wow my coworkers with covert usage of the large language model, so I don't have writer's block anymore, but I used to.
Yep. Yep. And that's what most people don't realize. So with writer's block, what really is writer's block? So writer's block is where someone stares a blank screen or page and struggles to begin to continue their work. And it's usually a problem for writers or designers or programmers, students, teachers, anybody. And sometimes you just don't know how to respond and you're just stuck. So we came up with a nice, really good example here. So let's create a example problem. So let me go ahead and share my screen here and you can see here. All right, so going over to here. So I got an angry email from Sandy. Okay, so Sandy, her name is Sad Sandy, and her email says is we actually run a bakery, and because we run a bakery, the bakery's name is called Two Layers Bakery. Okay, and we got an email from Sandy complaining about a cake that we actually baked for her. So I'm just gonna read the email really quick. So let's pretend that this is actually in your job. You got an email from somebody. It doesn't matter if it's an angry email or an email. Just pretend with this scenario. So it says, "Dear Bob, this is Sad Sandy writing, and believe me, the name fits right now. I recently ordered a cake from your bakery, and I was very clear that I wanted three distinct layers: chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. What I got was two layers, and some strawberries thrown on top like a garnish was going to fix the problem. Spoiler, it didn't. How hard is it to follow instructions? I was looking forward to a proper three-layer cake experience, and instead I got a two-layer imposter. It's like asking for a Neapolitan dream and like getting a budget sponge. No, I'm not one to write angry emails unless I've been truly let down, but this ruined my special moment. I chose your bakery because I believed in your quality and attention to detail. Clearly, I was mistaken. Please explain how this mistake happened and what you're gonna do to make it right. A discount won't fix my cake. A replacement cake with all three layers might. Sincerely, still sad, Sandy." Okay, can anybody relate to any of these example angry emails or anything that want to bring anyone in on the discussion if anybody wants to say how would you respond to Sandy in this scenario? John, any idea?
Well, this email was written today, it looks like, so I think I would give her two cakes, maybe do one with three layers and one with four, and let her choose.
Yep.
You
So
want to,
sometimes we definitely
you want,
Yep, sometimes we definitely don't know how to respond to moments like these. We may actually be, blocked in actually figuring out. But what we can do is, in any type of scenario, we can actually go over to one of our favorite large language models. So you see here we have ChatGPT, and most people are not familiar with this, but we're gonna point out a nice little cool tip that most people don't know. So there's a little plus icon here. So we have the email, and we can actually give context to ChatGPT. So we're gonna actually attach that email. Now it could be, imagine it could be a single email, it could be a thread with that's been going on for days, and you just don't know how to resolve this customer's problem. And again, it doesn't have to be, one email. You can attach many, many emails. So I want to show you guys a little tip here. So we have attached the emails, and because we're attaching the email, we have now set the context. Okay. So the context is the email, and I'm not gonna say anything about email, but in my prompt over here, we're going to actually ask a very simple question to ChatGPT. We're going to say, write a response to Sat Sandy and apologize. Tell her that the name of our company is 2-layer cakes and we do not make 3-layer cakes. But we will make it right and make you a 3-layer cake as an exception. Okay? So we're gonna do something here. So I want to point out that we are actually attaching the context of the email, and we're actually asking to help me write a response. Okay, so most people do not know that you can actually attach assets in these large language models. By the way, if you guys need to chime in, you guys can always come in, turn your video on, and we'll bring you into the chat. If you want to stay, and just post a comment, you can actually post a comment in the chat. I do see a couple of comments coming in, but let's look what ChatGPT has said. So it says, Dear Sandy, first, let me sincerely apologize for the disappointment and frustration caused by your recent order. You're absolutely right. You made a clear request for a 3-layer cake with chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, and we failed to deliver what you asked for. Our bakery is proudly and quite literally called 2-layer cakes, and our standard offerings are, well, 2 layers. That said, your order should have been treated with more care and attention, especially since you had specific and important expectations. We truly regret letting you down, especially during that what should have been a special moment. To make this right, we'll be happy to create a custom 3-layer cake just for you with chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, exactly as you originally requested on the house. This will be an exception to our usual offerings, but one we're more than we're willing to make because we value your trust. Please let us know the best time for pickup or delivery, and we'll get baking it immediately. Thank you for giving us a chance to fix this. We hope to turn your experience from sad to sweet. Warm regards, Bob, customer care team. We bake 2-layer cakes. That's the name of the company. So, guys, what do you guys think about this? John, do you think this was actually a good response? Do you think that ChatGPT handled this relatively well?
I think it handled it well. It went after what the right solution, of course, is to give them back what they wanted, regardless of what the name of our company is. My ChatGPT probably wouldn't have written that letter. I would not have had the warm regards. That's a telltale sign that AI wrote it. If it opened up with, I hope this email finds you well, that's also a telltale sign that AI wrote it. And I'd also have it strip out all the M dashes because an M dash is not on a computer. And so they know that AI wrote it. And so the thing about having AI write apologies is not getting caught outsourcing your apology. But otherwise, I think it's great.
Yep, I do definitely agree. Most people who are technical can recognize this, but the common person probably won't be able to detect all those little nifty things. Does anybody want to actually comment? Don't want to necessarily put anybody on the spot, but if anybody wants to chime in, unmute yourself, come in. We can actually bring you on the Zoom call. Do you guys have any opinions or ideas that you guys want to chime in on? All right. So the point though of that specific thing was we allowed ChatGPT to provide context, right? So it doesn't have to be an email, it could be a picture, it could be anything, and it can actually understand and identify context. So that's like the first stage of thing. I see Nadine actually jumped in with a comment. I'm gonna bring her comment in. So Nadine said, can you show those technical telltale signs? Definitely. All right, so let's go over to Nadine's question. So Nadine wants to find out what are those telltale signs. So John, let you handle this one. I'll bring back up the screen.
Well, the way I would handle what are the telltale signs of an AI written email is I would ask whatever large language model I'm in, what are the telltale signs that you include in emails that are not seen in emails written by humans? That's how I found out about the M dash. I was like, I do not want the person to know that this, because it was a long email. I do not want the person to know that it was written by AI, go through and comb out anything that could even elude to the fact that artificial intelligence was used. Tell me what you changed so that in the future I can ask for that or leave that out in my prompt. So my whole thing is I'm all about I spend almost half my prompts are asking for prompts. I don't just I don't just willy-nilly go into a large language model and start typing. I go into a large language model and start asking it for a prompt that will accomplish this thing. So the prompt that it gets to accomplish the thing is always written by itself. So Nadine, if I were you, I would start to get into that habit. I get into the habit of asking AI, to any concerns that you have. Tell AI you have that concern. It's so smart. It'll just respond in kind.
Yeah, you did mention though, John, there's a couple of telltale signs. So Nadine, if you're not necessarily have your hands accessible to a large language model now, like on ChatGPT or Grok or Copilot, let's go through a couple. So these dashes here, most people, if you notice, don't write so many dashes. So if you see, there's one, two, three, four. So there's four in this email that I caught. Actually, it's a hyphen. So there's four of those dashes. So that's one of the first giveaways. Most humans don't write like that. Another thing that John mentioned earlier is warm regards. Some people I do see that in humans. So that may not necessarily be. It's actually also perfectly grammatically correct. Again, most humans, if they're writing an apology, they may have a typo or they may have some grammatical errors, but it's perfect. So if you see something so perfect written, especially the timing, John mentioned that this email itself came out this morning at 10:49 a.m. So this is an email that came from Sad Sandy at 10:49 in the morning, and we're able to respond relatively quickly. Now, if you saw something that was responded to in a matter of seconds or minutes, it's probably going to be AI generated it. So don't necessarily get fooled on those. So give a little time if you want to send or respond to an email as well. All right.
So here's what Doc says out of the top 10. Unnatural phrasing or repetition, lack of personal voice. So if it sounds kind of, it's almost like a gut feel, like, oh, I can tell there was no personal thing here. Certainly well, we'll get to that. Inconsistent fact checking, spot errors on fabricated details, incorrect historical dates, because AI makes things up. So if it throws out a date and it's grossly incorrect, it's almost certainly AI. Perfect grammar with odd structures. So if you're off, doing an injection or something, if it puts the exclamation point followed by the semicolon or whatever, if it does it perfectly, it's probably AI. Predictable patterns, use of detection tools, employ AI detection software. So this is just another way to do it. Take a thing, throw it to an AI detection thing, have it tell you what's written by AI. And then over reliance on buzzwords, responses to specific prompts, and a statistical analysis. That 3-year-old trying to break into the studio here. So anyway, those are the things. So, I know that the topic here today is to wow your coworkers. And so I guess the wow factor of what we're doing right now is use AI to write letters to your coworkers, and then use AI again to make sure. You hear that?
No, we don't.
And
Yeah.
then use AI again to make sure that your coworker doesn't know that it was written by AI. That's how you wow
Yeah.
your coworkers. I'm not saying it's 100% ethical, but it does contain the wow factor.
Yeah, we have another question here. So Sterling actually said, why would that prompt reply not be simply viewed as great customer service? You know what, Sterling, you're technically right. I think most people do not know how to recognize AI responses yet. Most people can't even recognize AI videos because the deepfakes are actually so good. So because they're so good, I don't think most people are going to be able to detect them yet. So definitely, it actually might be great customer service, but some people, a very small percentage of the population, may be fooled by the AI generation. All right. So let's go ahead over to the next section. Love the questions that are coming in, guys. Keep them coming in. We'll bring them into the session and answer them as accordingly. And if you want, you can actually jump in on video and we can actually bring you in. All right. So the next part is because it's John's birthday. Because it's John's birthday, we wanted to do something a little special. And obviously, you know, you guys are be working with coworkers. You're going to be working with, you know, people that are going to have birthdays as well. So I wanted to do something a little bit special for John today. So what I did was, and this is a pretty interesting thing. So I went ahead and stalked John's Facebook page. And because I stalked John's Facebook page, I was looking for pictures. So I found this picture here. He was on Shark Tank, or maybe just a Shark Tank background. So I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know what this picture is context. I apologize if I'm actually overstating. But I took this picture and I said, hey, you know what? What would be great is just take this picture of John and put him into a video of a deep fake or something. So you may want to be able to have a little bit more creativity than I do. But I went over into Flow. Now here is an example output. So I did for an example, but let's not look at that for a second. But I'm going to take that and I'm going to attach an ingredient to a video. And then once I attach that ingredient to a video, it's asking me what to upload. So I can actually upload this picture of John. So I'm going to select that picture of John. I'm going to say, have John. I got a nifty prompt over here. So I have John running away from an explosion in a cinematic sequence with multiple camera angles and transition trying to get to safety. All right, so I'm going to actually hit generate on that. Okay, and while it's actually rendering, let's give a little bit of you know, love to John. So John, we have in the chat Sterling actually wishing you a happy birthday. So I just brought that into the chat. We have Suzette wishing you a happy birthday. I'm sure everybody wishing you a happy birthday, but I just want to call these ones specifically out. We also have Bill wishing you a happy birthday from Marietta. Nice, awesome. So you know, happy birthday, John, for turning 64. Hope you see many more. While this is actually rendering, did you add his original photo by just selecting? So Nadine asked the question. So based on this tool, did you add his original photo just by selecting the plus button? So yes, Nadine, that is correct. So most large language models actually have what's known as a prompt. And in that prompt, there is usually some way to attach things. So just like in ChatGPT over here, there was a little plus button where we gave the email as context, where we attach the email. If you go over to Flow, there is a plus button at the bottom, and all I did was hit upload and selected John's picture. So what I did was, I did a little pre-work before. I went over to Facebook, I downloaded the picture, and based on, the picture, I just cropped it a little bit, only just to put John in there. And I then, once I cropped it, because I didn't want the two people in there, and once I actually did that, I put in a nice little prompt, and I put the prompt in as have John running away from an explosion in a cinematic sequence, something like that, and then it renders. Now, this one's actually at 35%, but I'm going to go ahead and show this specific prompt. All right, what it generated. So as you can see, before I actually play the video, you'll notice John itself is a 3D rendered John. Again, it's not perfect, but it's actually relatively close. It has his suit, it has his tie. Look at how the physics is actually making the tie flow. His color of his shirt seems like it's actually correct. So go ahead and play the video for you guys. Okay. So if you notice, John's actually running away from the explosions, and you see, just I just love the physics of how the tie is actually flapping in the wind. That's actually pretty interesting. John, I see you actually said, the video looks more like me than an old photo, Interesting. Yep, definitely. And Nadine says, is ChatGPT a subscription cost? So Nadine, ChatGPT recently made an announcement that they are going to go free. So at some point in time, the free version itself, where they have limitations where you used to pay something like $20 a month, that will be actually going for free. So most of these large language models are going to eventually be free at some point in time, or they're going to be included with some other subscription with something else. That is this one. Now the rendering came back with John in the second rendering. Let's go take a look at this one. So again, a different, completely rendered. Oh, this one looks a little bit more animated. But I do like that, you know, it's a building, explosions, and you can actually see rubble on the floor. All of this is 3D generated in real time. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? You guys have any questions?
Nadine here. I think his mouth looks kind of funny. He's going through
Yes.
like it looks like it could be changed a little bit. I don't know if you could do that.
Yes.
You can play the Will Smith video.
Yeah. Yeah, Nadine, that's actually you're actually right. His mouth does look a little funny initially, and we could actually definitely try to you know, tell it to re-render that as well. Sterling also mentioned that, oh, look at John's actually making his mouth look the same way right now. Sterling mentioned it shows him turning back to the explosion. Yeah, that's pretty funny as well. John did mention, you know, Will Smith eating spaghetti. I want to show you guys how far we've come from how far we've actually come. So this was actually 2 years ago.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot. Uncle Phil, come try this. Fresh pasta of Bel Air. Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Yeah, so John, thanks for reminding me about that Will Smith eating spaghetti video. So Nadine, you know, definitely, you know, even though there were some artifacts in that video, it was definitely clear that the mouth, something wasn't right with the mouth. Yeah, let's play it again. This one is actually rather interesting. Yeah. I want to show you guys a couple more, you know, because you guys probably are saying, yeah, this tool's pretty cool, but I want to show you guys this. So we actually
But you could
generated.
Nadine
Go
here
ahead.
again. So you can actually re-render something. So if it comes out like that, without starting all over again, you could say, okay, minimize the mouth on his escape or something like that.
So, you know, the technology is not there yet where you can tweak every single thing and re-render the exact scene, but the technology is actually getting there. So right now it's going to probably regenerate something similar, but not exactly the same. So you can't right now
But if
make
you point out,
tweak changes.
if you point out in your prompt that I don't like the fact that the mouth doesn't look realistic, it will put extra cycles on making sure that the mouth is perfect on the next.
Okay, but it does a whole new rendition. Doesn't take that existing one it first came up with and modify that one. It'll start over with that, taking that into account.
Kind of. I do. I have the problem. There are music makers where you can give it lyrics and it'll put music behind it, and you can make it be rap or country or whatever.
Mhm.
And if you like everything but one word, it's difficult to get it to re-render and change that one word because it still has to fit the new text into the space of the old text. Very difficult to do, but they're working on it. Give it a month, and I bet you there'll be something that does what you're looking to do. But I mean, I've been waiting 20 years to be able to make movies without a sound stage and without actors and without cameras, and I can make movies now without any of the overhead. The multi-$100 million productions can now be made in your living room with the English language alone, and that's just mind-boggling. I mean, we were talking about VO3 yesterday, and I literally dusted off an old script that I wrote in the year 2000, and I pulled the first screen. I sent it into the Chat GPT. I told it to write a script that I could send to VO3. It put together a script, and Junior put it into VO3, and I swear to God, it was exactly what I envisioned the movie would be if I had spent the, I don't know, 50 grand that they wanted to use Ameritech's office and to film for 3 days. So, I mean, anybody can make these. Hollywood is screwed because of AI.
Yeah, and here is the script that John wrote.
Sir,
about 20
this
years
transmission contains the authorization code from the Saturn mining mission. So?
That mission disappeared over 20 years ago.
Sir, this transmission contains the authorization code from the Saturn mining mission. So?
That mission disappeared over 20 years ago.
Sir.
Yeah, so just the quality on something like this is just mind-blowing, especially with the audio. I'll show you guys a couple of other videos that we actually played around with. And Nadine, this is just to actually, you know, hammer the point a little bit more, is that the realism of these characters, yes, it didn't actually generate the right thing with John's mouth, but when you have a isolated small number of movements, so you have, you know, a lot of physics going on in the background with the explosion, but when you have a small number of physics that are actually happening that the 3D model needs to generate, it's actually really quite good. So this one we actually generated for one of the ads that we push out for a Father's Day special. And we generated 2 of these videos. So check this one out.
Learn AI during your lunchtime. Save 20% with coupon code GIVEME20. Happy Father's Day from Airhead Institute. Learn AI during your...
So the thing I want to point out is the lips itself matches up with the words. And that's really, really hard to do even for, you know, the best AI software. If you also notice her neck, when she's talking, her neck is actually moving with the your expectations of how she actually breathes and speaking. So, you know, this actually just blew our mind away. We did generate a couple more with the same
Learn
exact
AI
thing.
during your lunchtime. Save 20% with coupon code GIVEME20. Happy Father's Day from Airhead Institute. Learn AI during your lunchtime. Save 20% with coupon code. Don't let your father be left behind. Save 20% with coupon code GIVEME20. Happy Father's Day from Airhead Institute.
Yeah, so Nadine, and the only reason why I'm actually showing these is because it may seem a little goofy in the John generating the mouth not really well, but if you isolate just a small number of physics movement, it's actually really, really good. All these people that I just showed, they actually don't exist. They were just generated from text that I typed into a prompt. So you know, it's really hard to even tell looking at this actual video that this was actually an AI generated video. Great questions. I'm gonna go through the chats and see. Let's see, is there anything nice to bring in? So Storm's making a joke by saying that he's running back to the explosions, you know, save, and then Bill chimes in to say he's gonna save somebody. That's a hero, Johnny there. Yes, and Storm, you're right. It's really good considering that it was actually generated in less than 2 minutes. That's definitely true. I'm actually blown away, and the skills that you're learning at Airhead Institute to understand what tools are available and how you can actually apply it to both your professional life and your life outside of work. You're gonna actually be, you know, light years ahead of everyone as long as you're immersed in the experience and actually understanding how to use the tools and the tips and tricks needed. All right, any questions? Anybody want to bring in anything or ask anything? We have one more
Yes.
section to actually go through. Go ahead.
Nadine here again. So this is ChatGPT that's doing all this, right?
So the one
That's rendering these.
specifically for the first example, where Sandy sent an email about the bakery, that is ChatGPT. But we could have used any one of the large language models to, you know, interact with that. The one that you saw with the video is a tool that Google is making available. The underlying technology is called VO. And the suite I'm actually using is Flow, which is just a nice user interface on top of a video generation. So yes, you can call it VO if you want.
VO, VIO.
VEO. I'll actually drop that in the
VO is a Google tool.
Uh-huh.
And there's a VO2 and a VO3. VO2 is free, and VO3 is it's like there's a special for a half price, but it's like $250 a month.
Woo.
But if you're making movies,
Yeah.
like that trailer that we're making for the movie with the computer room, once that trailer is done, I can go out and raise $10 million to make the movie, and it might cost me $250 to make the trailer. So that's kind of cool.
So ChatGPT doesn't do the video; they just do more of the writing.
Not yet, but I wouldn't, since Google is behind VO, that the ChatGPT video generator, when it rolls out, will be as good or better.
And is ChatGPT a subscription that you pay for, or is that free?
Say that again?
Is ChatGPT a subscription, a paid subscription, or is that free use?
No, it's free. ChatGPT is one of about 6 language models. I'll cut and paste all the language models into the chat, but they're basically, the OpenAI model is ChatGPT. Google's model is Gemini. Facebook's model is Llama. Then there's Claude. Elon Musk's model is Grok. Perplexity is that one. Leo. There's a bunch. But I mean, they're all very good. It's hard to distinguish between them unless you really get into intricate stuff. But you should play around. Sometimes I'll run out of credits in ChatGPT, so I'll just switch over to Claude or Grok. But those are all text to text. But that was, 2 years ago, text to text was all the rage. Now it's text to audio, text to presentations, text to video, text to music, text to eventually text to actions. Go mow the lawn. And then you'll give it specifics. I want it to be exactly 3.5 inches high. I want you to finish before the party starts in 2 hours. I want you to seat it when you're done, that kind of stuff. AI is getting incredible. When it takes your job away, then we'll just be free to live our lives. And that will happen.
Yeah, that's an awesome question there, Nadine. Anybody else have any questions they want to ask or comments they want to chime in? All right. I love the interaction that you guys are actually jumping in. So let's see. Sterling actually asks, can you share videos that you create with these apps, or are they view only? So Sterling, great question. So with every single video that you generate, there is a download link at the top, and you can download it and do it anything you want. You can go ahead and want to share it on Facebook, on YouTube, any one of your social platforms, and you can even take that video and do anything because it's yours. There is no copyright attached to it that you have to pay for, like a typical movie studio would actually license out a video. So all of those is yours to free to use and distribute accordingly. Great question. All right. So
I can think of a way that you can wow your coworkers. So since about 10 minutes into this video, as you can see, I'm coming to you live from the Fox News headquarters, or some national news headquarters, with the graphics behind me and so forth. I've got my door locked up. I'm actually sitting in my house with my door locked. And about 10 minutes into this video, my 3-year-old started screaming outside the door that she wanted to get in, but it's locked. So I could usually drown out the screaming by throwing the audio clip on. But you could probably hear it now, right?
No, we can't hear anything.
Okay, good. What would be nice is if I could, within this platform, freeze my image to give me 5 seconds to go over to the door while I'm on audio, tend to the 3-year-old, and then come back. That would, since I'm your one and only coworker, that would wow me, Junior.
Yeah, we'll actually work on that this weekend, definitely. Instead of having a I think it's a
Before we
cough
sign
button
up,
in production.
right? Before we sign off, maybe we can introduce my 3-year-old. But we've got 7 more minutes, so
Yeah, we actually
I
have
gotta let her in
one more
sooner
section.
or later.
We have one more section, Johnny, and this is actually a surprise. So you didn't know
Okay.
about this one, and it's your birthday. So I wanted to do something special for your birthday. So apologies if we're actually stealing the time that you wanted, but so let's go over to Flow. I'm gonna share my screen again. And so because it's John's birthday, I'm not sure if many people or everyone on the call knows about John. So John lives in Kentucky with his family, and he lives on a farm. But what is it, John? Maybe about 60 acres, something like that. I didn't hear you, John, but it's about 100 and something acres, and horses are there, everything's there. So we said, hey, what better way to wow your coworker on their birthday by not only making a movie about them, but also making a video montage of John. No, I created a couple behind the scenes first, but so John, you know, has how many horses, John? You gotta fill me in. Maybe what, 50 horses, 60 horses?
You had 75 horses on 140 acres.
Yep, there you go. Because of that, we wanted to, generate something that would actually tell John happy birthday. So I said, create an 8-second ultra energetic birthday video for a man named John who lives in a farm in Kentucky. Use rapid cinematic transitions between scenes, horses galloping, sparkling lake, a rustic farmhouse, and wide open fields. Include dynamic camera movements like zoom, pans, and drone flyovers. Add festive sound effects, galloping hooves, birds chirping, fireworks crackling, party horns, cheering, and laughter. Use upbeat celebratory background music. Include a cheerful, enthusiastic voiceover that says, Happy birthday, John, from your Airhead Institute family, and with a dramatic burst of fireworks over the lake sunset. So I know John hasn't necessarily seen this yet, so if it comes out a little bit too cheesy, I apologize. But you know what? It's your birthday. You're allowed to be a little embarrassed on your birthday.
Happy birthday, John, from your Airhead Institute family. Happy birthday, John, from your Airhead Institute family. Happy birthday, John.
Yeah, so one thing I want to point out, John, obviously it didn't capture the beauty of your property with the lake and the fireworks in the middle of the lake, but this is actually quite impressive with respect to what I could imagine what your farm looks like. So happy birthday. Hopefully you have many more. And does anybody want to actually maybe just wish him a happy birthday verbally? That would be also awesome.
Yeah, John, I was expecting to see maybe a little bit of your Halloween deal in this little montage because I heard that was pretty cool.
The Halloween,
yeah.
The Halloween thing is pretty cool, but we do these every single day. So I don't know if you'll be in tomorrow, but I'll bet you that Halloween thing creeps in.
And your Christmas deal that you have going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot.
Yeah.
No, happy
we're
birthday,
looking forward
man.
to it. Thanks, Nadine.
You bet.
Hey, before you sign off, I know you got 2 minutes left. I want to introduce my favorite little girl who's been banging on the door. You guys want to say hi to her?
I will.
All right. You still out there, baby?
And while that's going,
Come on.
let me bring in.
This little creature has been crying for 35 minutes because she look at the camera, baby. Look up there. Look at all those people.
Let's see ya.
Say happy birthday. Say happy birthday, Daddy.
Happy birthday.
Are you still crying?
Hi, Aspen.
Hi.
Hey, is that
Yeah,
Uncle Bill?
yeah.
Let me see
All
those
right.
smiling teeth. Come on.
Can we get a smile? Can we get a smile from you?
There you go.
Okay.
There
She's
you
happy
go.
now that
Yeah.
she's got daddy.
Yep,
Good
yep,
girl.
yep. Happy birthday, John. All right.
Well, thank you for
guys.
this wonderful birthday special. I appreciate the fact that you guys remembered me, and I thank you guys for coming in and joining in. And we do this every single day, so I hope you guys will come back around when we have more focused sessions. But this was a great celebratory day, and I really, really appreciate it. You can roll
Happy
the credits
birthday,
whenever you're watching.
Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday.
Bill.